it's Saturday the 4th of February 2012, a day before my birthday, boys and girls. Don't forget, get your messages of goodwill in. Send your gift. Well, you can't send them through because there's no address for you to send them through. But if anyone wants to put money in my PayPal account for my birthday, then please feel free to do it. It's a long time since I received money in a card when I was a little boy. It'd be quite nice to have a few bits and pieces coming in, wouldn't it? Sorry about the little bit of scratchy sound. Was it on yesterday's show or Thursday's show? Which, of course, James has picked up on. Oh, hang on, I've got the wrong bit of paper here. Where's James? James, who, I can't find it now, but I remember what was in it now. James thought it might have been Katie testing out the microphone. Well, it wasn't Katie, I'm afraid. What it was is on my little recording device, I think it was a little bit of dirt in the socket that the plug goes in, so I've given that a good clean out. And we should be in high definition sound now, okay? High definition sound. Now, of course, a lot of emails on this show coming up, so we're going to go straight to those just after I've told you. If you're looking forward to Valentine's Day, boys and girls, always a time of the year that I get very, very depressed. Nothing for me as usual on Valentine's Day. Is this the year that there's going to be a card drop through my door from someone really nice, all right? My Prince Charming. Will there be anything coming through the door this year? Or maybe there'll be a knock at the door and I'll open it and he's just standing there. He's just standing there in possibly a football kit or something like that. Possibly, Cristiano Ronaldo. Will he send me a Valentine's card this year? I wonder, boys and girls. Probably not. It just doesn't happen. I personally think it's just such a blooming waste of money, Valentine's Day. I really do. Especially, in particular, roses, chocolates and cards. They're all way inflated prices. Wait till the next day. If that person you're trying to impress loves you that much, they won't mind waiting an extra couple of days so you can save half the price on these blooming bunches of roses and this, that and the other. Eh? They won't mind. Don't buy anything before Valentine's or on in particular on Valentine's Day. Don't think you're going to go down to the florist and get a good price on a dozen roses on Valentine's Day. You must be joking. It ain't going to happen. It really isn't. Wait until the next day or even a couple of days after. And you can tell them, if they start moaning, if you really loved me, you wouldn't mind waiting. You can say, Chris Reardon says that from United Kingdom Talk. Chris Reardon said, from United Kingdom Talk, don't forget to get in there, say to him, Chris Reardon from United Kingdom Talk says, or .co.uk, you can add that on the end. Chris Reardon from United Kingdom Talk.co.uk says, if you really loved me, you wouldn't mind waiting a couple of more days. And see what they say. Okay? I'm going to save you some money now. From one of Britain's favourite supermarkets, Asda. Oh yes, Asda. It says the story in the Mail Online. Valentine's Day just under 2 weeks away. Supermarket giant Asda has brought out a smart price Valentine's card costing just 7 pence. How wonderful is this? A 7 pence Valentine's Day from Asda. And it's got the little Asda logo there in a love heart and it says Smart Price. And do you know, that's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. And that's what you need to do. Don't go out just before Valentine's Day and start spending 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 pounds on a bloody card. It's a waste of money. Oh, yeah, and you know exactly what'll happen with a card. But what's this? Oh, it's a card. Oh, thank you, darling. And that's it. Gone. And that 10 seconds of thank you has cost you 10 quid. Really not cost effective, my darlings. It's not cost effective. So my advice is do not start spending small fortunes, in particular on cards. When you can go, this programme today is sponsored by Asda, boys and girls. We are sponsored by, well, you would think it was, wouldn't you? Wouldn't mind getting a few vouchers for shopping after all this mentions I've been giving them. But yes, that's where you want to go. Go down to Asda, get yourself a smart price card for just 7 pence. Of course, those of you that are playing the field, might need to send a few of these Valentine's cards. No problem at all when they're just 7 pence each, is it? They even throw in an envelope. God's sake, it just gets better and better, doesn't it? All right? Get yourself one of those cards. Alrighty, email time. Hello to Miss Wayne 1975, who says, you were talking about Smarty sandwiches. Another fabulous show, darling Chris. I just have to say my favourite sandwich has to be ready salted crisps and salad cream. Yummy. Well, I don't know. I don't think I'd like the salad. I'm not a fan of salad cream, to be honest. Oh, it's vile stuff, that is. But yes, an interesting combination of food there, I must say. Hello to Millie hello to Millie in Minnesota. She's not there at the moment. Just a quick note to tell you that I'll be extending my stay in Arizona until Monday morning. Oh, another couple of days, because up till now I've been unable to go anywhere because I had no vehicle, which means I've been unable to spend any time with my dad yet. I will therefore be back in Minnesota on late Wednesday or next week. You keep Millie travels the world. Millie travels the world. Hello to David, Kath and little Charlie on the Garden Isle, the Isle of Wight, just off the south coast there. It's ages since I've heard from you. Like, where on earth have you been? I did wonder where you'd gone to. And it says, it's David on the Isle of Wight. I hear that you're thinking about getting a CB radio again. Yes, I am. Well, you don't need a CB radio licence in the UK now because the government has stopped doing the licence fee. If you're going to have a base station, the best base aerial is an Antron 99. Now, was it the same one someone else recommended? Let me see. An Antron... Yes. Someone else mentioned that, the Antron 99. So that's two of you. So that's probably the base aerial I'll get. It goes on, we're doing well, me, Kat and little Charlie, and we still listen to the show. Yes, you can't get rid of us that easy, Chris. From David, Kat and little Charlie on the Isle of Wight. P.S. Please bring back the live show. Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if we're going to ever bring back a live show. It was just the technical things that kept going wrong with that. It just drove me absolutely mad. I mean, it really did. So I don't know. Maybe one day. One day we might, maybe just in audio form rather than video as well. I don't know. What do you reckon, eh? If you want to join, boys and girls, ever send an email. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. All right. James actually knows a lot about amateur radio. Now, I didn't know this. He's obviously into it. He says amateur radio has a 10-centimetre band and a 10-metre band and a 2-metre band. There are many bands on amateur radio, and you can do Morse code and put out a lot of power for around the world. So you can speak to, obviously, you know, people of far, far greater distances than you can on CB radio. Because of this, you need to know how to repair the radios and how they work. I have passed my amateur radio exam. I'm hoping to go back on amateur radio. With CB radio, you don't have to know much about CB radio as you don't go out that far. Yeah, it's like, I think it's maximum like 10 miles. It's just a simple operation. You can buy throwaway CB radios now. I believe that's how simple it is now. With amateur radio, as you can see the way I talk about it, the setup is a lot more sophisticated, like using a lot of power, which can be dangerous. And Morse code is not so easy to use, and I think it's a dying art. From James. James, do you actually have to know Morse code to pass one of these amateur radio tests, or can you do it without the Morse code? And James, also, can you give me some examples of questions that you are actually asked when you're sitting one of these amateur radio tests? Or is there a link to questions or something like that you could send? I'm quite fascinated by this. Please do let us know, okay? Chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. Hello to the lovely Jean Evans, who writes, on the subject of people on benefits not looking after their properties, I myself am on housing benefits through no fault of my own. Got made involuntarily homeless 5 years ago after my divorce, but I would never trash my home. We're certainly not saying that everyone on benefits trashes their home. You know, I have in one of my flats someone who's on benefits, and it's kept very well, you know, but some do. It's my castle, she says, so it doesn't apply to everyone. Absolutely, I agree. On the subject of the CB radio, I see your handle was Matchbox. Yes, my name on the CB was Matchbox. Mine was Lady Beaver. She says, yeah, I know, say no more. Didn't realise it had a different meaning in America till my brother, who lives there, told me 20 years ago. I lived above a shop at the time and got a great reception. Matchbox was actually a record made by a guy called Carl Perkins in the 60s. Don't know if you knew that. No, I didn't, actually. I'll try and find it on YouTube and send it to you. Great show as always. Keep doing that smile you do, Chris. Bye for now from the lovely Jean Evans. Jean is in the house. Jean, I'm smiling, Jean. Smiling for you. Okay. Hello to American Cutie Pie. On the subject of the Smartie sandwiches. And she says, chocolate-filled sandwiches, yummy. Peanut butter would be good with that too. I'm not a fan on peanut butter at all. I think it's vile stuff. How anyone can have peanut butter, I don't know. She says, but seriously, I doubt the mum made that sandwich. If you remember on the show a few days ago, I was telling you someone sent a child to school with that Smartie sandwich. Really, 2 bits of bread and Smarties in between. How lovely. Yes. Lots of kids have busy mums at work and are the ones that make their own lunch each morning. I suspect that child made their own sandwich and snuck it out without mum even knowing. Oh, possibly. Possibly. Do you think that's what's going on? She says, and then American Cutie Pie says, regarding the UK and Canada breaking up. Now, I don't know, I think you've misheard me at some point there. We were talking about the UK and Scotland. Okay, the UK is Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales and England. Okay, that makes up the UK. And what is a possibility of happening, not too distant future, is the UK actually breaking up. So those countries that form the UK will have their own governments, okay, and we will separate. But you wrote in your email regarding the UK and Canada breaking up. I hope they do not. I have a feeling if the UK and Canada breaks up, the US will be soon to follow. That would cause major mess for so many government departments and likely cost a lot of money to change everything from gov, stationery, to everything else. No, I think you misheard me. It was not the UK and Canada. Well, we're not actually together, are we? The UK, we're friends, but we're not sort of together. You see what I mean? So I think you might have misheard me there. Okay, darling. Hello to Lisa. Lisa in crazy California, who sends me some information about a man who was fined in the US for not having a CB radio licence. Now look at this. And she says, here is but one example of the nonsense involved in CB radio transmitting in the USA, Chris. And yes, a licence is required for any CB radio transmitters that are strong enough to be broadcast far away. I'm presuming here, by that you mean CB radios possibly on sideband, where they have extra power amplifiers, known as boots. Incidentally, if you say have you got boots on your CB, it means have you got a power amplifier to up the power going out. And the story came from the June the 10th on a site called ComLaw Blog. And it says the FCC, this is the American people that look after CB license and that sort of thing, radio waves and all that. The FCC stopped sending out CB licenses decades ago, yet the lack of one triggered a $15,000 penalty. The FCC fined a man $15,000 for operating a citizen band radio without a license. Wait a minute. You don't need a licence for CB radio. Well, OK, technically you do, but it's not something you have to apply for. Everybody with a CB is automatically deemed to have one. The FCC calls this licence by rule, a legal fiction that simplifies life for everybody, including the FCC, which long ago got tired of licking stamps to send out the annual licence. But if CB licences are automatically granted to all CBers, how could Mr Hayes get in trouble? Now, the power limit for CB radios in the US, as it is here in the UK, is 4 watts, just 4 watts. Mr. Hayes had used an illegal device called a linear amplifier, also known as boots, that stepped up his transmitter to 750 watts. Jeez, dear me. When the FCC showed up at his door and explained the rules, Mr. Hayes voluntarily disconnected and destroyed the device, but a few months later he was using another one down to 75 watts, but was still way above the legal limit, and they charged him, and that's why he got the that's why they say kind of followed him up there. It's a bit naughty. That's a lot of power. 750 watts. Christ, you'll be going some way in that, I tell you. I suppose it's quite easy to get caught having the wrong sort of power going. I'm not quite sure how that works at all. I mean, how do they know? How did they know that he had power? Always best to stick within the law on all these things, anyway. Let's have a look. Here we are. She also writes here, since enforcement is now really more on US government's radar, anyone who dares to get amplifiers strong enough to transmit far away, and anyone who dares to do a show that would last more than 5 minutes' time, would risk heavily fined and or imprisoned. Only those who get a business license for long distance can now legally transmit using such strong, far-reaching transmitters and equipment. So the days of those underground radio shows and long-distance home CB radio is over here in the USA. She says, in the old days, 70s to 80s, people in the USA had what was called underground radio shows, okay, and broadcast far away from their personal radio transmitters. So, you know, you're sitting at home, got your microphone in your hand and your signal's going much, much further than you're really permitted to do. There were rules on paper and licenses were required, but there was little regard for either by CBers or those supposed to enforce such laws back then. The US government is now scared of we citizens having such freedom to communicate to places far away or vice versa. So they changed restricting transmitting power for home use to local, i.e. 4 watts. So that's more information on the old CB thing there. I actually wrote to someone, emailed a shop about aerials and things like that, and I've got a reply here with all the bits of paper and bits and pieces, and a decent, nice big aerial for the side of my house and that. I think I'm looking at about a total cost of probably about 130, 140, maybe 150 pounds. My best friend Ron said he's going to get me a CB radio for my birthday, so he'll buy the rig. So the rest of it is, I'll only have to pay about, I don't know, about £70 for all these bits and pieces. So I think I definitely am going to go and give a CB radio another go. Another thing I want to do really is get some sort of telescope at some point, but I'll get that maybe later in the year, maybe a bit warmer. I don't fancy going outside in the garden and trying to peer out the stars in this weather. Thank you very much. All right, Stacey, my nephew's my nephew's wife. I was talking about them. They're going to have a baby in. Oh, I always get this wrong. March? Is it March? I'm sure it's March or April. One of those two. They're having a baby, and I think I must have said something wrong. She says, Stacey writes, "I do hope it's not next year that the babies come, dear. That's a long time to carry." Did I say it was next year? Sorry, darling, it's not far away. Is it 2 months? 2 months and I'm going to be a great uncle. And they've got 4D pictures, which I showed you on a previous show. And a lovely name for the baby. Did I tell you what the name was? I can't remember now. I don't think I should. I won't tell you the name till the baby comes, all right? Another one here from American Cutie Pie says, have you ever, because I showed you all these different breads yesterday, didn't I? Well, not all these different, giraffe bread. That it was called tiger bread, it's now called giraffe bread, and a lovely letter from that little girl named 3.5 to Sainsbury's got them to actually change the name of the bread. An American Cutie Pie says, have you ever tried monkey bread? No, never heard of that. I'm not sure why it's called that, since it doesn't look like a monkey. And it isn't even made with bananas. It's cinnamon and sticky and heated with a dab of butter. It's sinfully delectable. Oh, I do like the sound of that, Lisa. I found it at a Walmart store a year or so ago, and I was daring enough to try it, and very glad I did. If you haven't had it yet, give it a try. I doubt you'll be sorry, so I'll have to have a look at that. For monkey bread, I've never heard of that. I don't know if we've got it here. Talking of Walmart, of course, Walmart owns Asda, Lisa. And I wonder, can you have a look in Walmart when you're there and see if they too are doing these very, very cheap Valentines cards? So I don't suppose what the equivalent be about 15 cents, I suppose, 10, 15 cents, something like that. Are they doing cheap Valentines cards in Walmart? If you could let us know and perhaps send a picture of one as well. Okay, on the email address chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. How are we doing on time? 21. Ooh, there are a little bit more. Oh, I've read that already. I printed your email twice there. A dreadful waste of paper. Let's see. Hello to... Oh, she's back. There she is. Kath Cornish. I did wonder where you were, Kath. Dear. Kath, I've got your... Where's that? Look. I've got the birthday card that you sent me nearly over... Was it over a year ago? I think you said... Let me see what the date is on there. Is there a date on there? Oh, I can't see. Just a moment. I'll have to put my glasses on to read this. It's so dim that way. Do you like my glasses? I've got glasses. Kath sent this on... Oh, the 25th of April last year. And it's been sitting, waiting. It says, for your birthday, 5th of February 2012, not to be opened before then. Look, it's still sealed. Still sealed. Hasn't been opened. Look at that. Not been opened. It's waiting to be opened on my birthday tomorrow, Kath. And Kath has written... Actually, it's easier to read the emails with these glasses on. I think possibly. I've got a few sets of glasses. These are the ones from the... I've got a pair of glasses. These like come from the supermarket, you know, £10 or something like that. And what you do, you just try on these glasses in front of a little mirror and read something. And when it looks all right, then you buy the glasses. Much cheaper than going to one of those opticians or something like that. It is actually... Is that easier? Oh, it is. Oh, it's a lot easier with the glasses on. Kath writes, hello, Chris. Because I sent her a little private email. She says, I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking, because she wasn't too well last year. A lot better start to 2012 than I had in 2011. I'm very good. I'm pleased to hear that. She says, I ended the year with more hospital treatment, but on the winning side now. The winner takes it all. The losers falling. I can't remember the words on that one now. I never miss any of your shows. You always spin a good yarn and make me smile. I don't have a copy of the recent email I sent you, because Kath sent me an email and it was about losing contact with friends, and I misplaced it somewhere. I don't find that anywhere. So I asked her to resend it, but she hasn't got it anymore. She said, it was just my usual ramblings. Mainly, I was saying I found the same as you, Chris. Friends don't always keep in touch and return phone calls. Though I still keep in touch with a few friends I made in my school days many years ago. We don't meet up anymore, as I moved many years ago from Warrington in Cheshire to... I can't say that. Gwenminid. Near Mould in North Wales. No one can say Welsh towns' names. It's just not possible to say these things. She says, where I am, and I feel so much more at home. So we keep in touch by snail mail and then the infamous cards and sometimes a phone call. Yeah, well, I mean, do you know what? I'm in touch with no one other than occasional letters from Gary, who I used to be at primary school and then secondary school. But no, it's funny, all those people, all those hundreds of people that I knew at school, and none of them are in contact with me at all. You know, it's sad, really, isn't it, when you think about it? She says, I also asked you if you had any news of Brown Botkin, the poorly young man from the USA. No, I haven't, actually. I will look that up. We'll look that up and see if we can find anything more about him. Hope all is well with him. I remember something else I rambled on about as soon as I've sent this email, no doubt. Regards from Kath, a little village near Mould, Flintshire, North Wales. She said, wishing you a very happy birthday. I hope you have a good and peaceful new year, although it's a bit belated as we're now in cold, cold February. We certainly are in cold, cold February. Hello to Ross Paddout, who sends a very, very occasional email. We're lucky to get one every 2 months from him now. Who says on the subject of noisy neighbours, which unfortunately I don't have here. As I said many times before, we're very, very lucky here not to all get on very well and respect each other. Ross, unfortunately, has a noisy neighbour. They live across the road and the young girl drives in the close, radio on, drives fast and onto her drive opposite Emily's room at 2 a.m. in the morning and wakes Emily up. One day I will have a go at her, from Ross in Norwich. No, you haven't got to have a go at her. Is she one of these people who stays in bed until like 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon, I wonder? Because if she is, it's very, very simple, dear. All you've got to do is get your little van or whatever you're doing now, your delivery van, I'm not quite sure what you're doing now, or open your windows and shove your hi-fi out full blast at 10 o'clock in the morning. That'll wake her up and perhaps she'll stop doing it. Have you actually said anything to her yet? Maybe a quiet word first before you start going over there. All guns are blazing, all right? That's it from the show today. As always, thanks for watching and listening. My email address is chris@unitedkingdomtalk.co.uk. See you on the next show. Bye-bye.